today, I guess the first story out of the gate is one that you have, Jim. We kind of touched on it last week, the IE 0-day exploit. I guess there's some updates on that one?
Right. Last week when we taped, a 0-day had been identified in Internet Explorer over the weekend, and we speculated on whether or not Microsoft would release an out-of-band patch for it, and in fact they did by the end of last week. To my surprise, I said last week that I thought this was probably the first big thing that would not get patched on XP, and it turns out they went ahead and they patched it on XP as well. I think mostly because that version of Internet Explorer was also available on Windows Server 2003 and so forth. So they did actually patch it on XP. So I was wrong. This wasn't the first one that went unpatched on XP.
Interesting. So it sounds like maybe Microsoft caved a little bit there in their policy, even though they've kind of stopped support for XP. This was a big enough one, and it was the first one since the end of life that they just went ahead and provided a patch for everybody anyway.
That's one possibility. Yeah, they certainly, as I said on last week's show, I thought this would be the first one that didn't get patched, and they went ahead and patched it. Of course, we knew that folks who had paid for extended support would get the patches for this one, but everybody running XP could have gotten the patches for this if they applied it.
Right. Well, that's a good thing.
Well, I tend to disagree.
Okay.
I was actually speaking with one of our other analysts today, and he does a little bit of work on the side, helping support other people's networks, and there are lots of people who are still hesitant to move on from XP.
Right.
And one of the things he'd been saying to them is, you're not going to get patches, you're not going to get security updates, you're going to be vulnerable for the rest of your life. And these people are coming back to him and saying, well, look, no, they're patching now. They're totally patching XP. And so that's more ammunition in their bag. Right. And it sort of lulls them into a false sense of security that they think just because this one's been patched, they really don't have to move on from XP, and that's not the case.
Right. Well, eventually they're going to get snagged by this, where Microsoft isn't going to provide a patch unless you buy the extra support contract. But I agree with you. XP is very old. People should be moving on. I understand it really was a good operating system, and a lot of people still like to use it because in some respects, what is the new versions of Windows providing for you so much above and beyond what you had with XP? But there is a lot in there. So, I would recommend people just even performance improvements with the newer versions of Windows.